Ancient Egypt, a civilization that thought big, pyramids, sphinxes, gods for everything. We're talking the 18th dynasty here. This was Egypt's golden age. They were the superstars of the ancient world, powerful, rich, totally in charge. Then, along comes a young prince, Amenhotep IV, that was his name. He wasn't initially the guy everyone expected to take the big seat. The universe, it seems, enjoys a good plot twist. He was about to stir things up. His dad was Amenhotep III, a pharaoh known for peace and for prosperity, and for building stuff. Egypt under him was pretty stable, traditional, the gods were happy, or so everyone thought. This was the Egypt young Amenhotep IV inherited. Get ready for a wild ride. Once he got the crown, Akhenaten didn't just sit there. He was a man of action, a visionary with a plan. Akhenaten didn't just sit there. He was determined to leave his mark on history. He didn't just keep the cosmic machinery humming. Oh no. He started making changes. Big, dramatic, universe-altering changes. He was ready to shake things up. One of his first major moves? He changed his name. This was more than just a personal rebranding. From Amenhotep IV, which meant Amun is satisfied, he became Akhenaten, meaning effective for Aten, or spirit of Aten. That's a statement, a bold declaration of his new religious vision. Like changing your Twitter handle to something totally radical. It was a move that caught everyone's attention. He was signaling a new era, a dawn of a new age under the sun god Aten. Then he decided the old capital Thebes was yesterday's news. It was time for a change. Thebes was the center of Amun worship, a place steeped in tradition and old gods. Akhenaten wanted a clean slate, a fresh start, a place where he could build his vision from the ground up. So he did something unprecedented, something no one had dared to do before. He ordered the construction of a whole new capital city, a city that would reflect his new religious beliefs, from scratch, in the desert. This city was Akhetaten, the horizon of Aten, a place dedicated to his god. Talk about a massive undertaking, moving the entire government, building a city from nothing. Imagine the cosmic moving vans. The scale of this project was immense, a testament to Akhenaten's ambition and vision. Let's dive into the religious revolution. This is the core of Akhenaten's story. Before him, Egypt was a polytheistic society. Gods everywhere, hundreds of them, each with a job, a role, a fan club. Amun-Ra, the sun god combined with the Theban god, was the king, the big cheese, the headliner of the divine rock band. This system had worked for millennia. It was Egypt. Akhenaten looked at this divine multitude and said, nah, he had a different idea, a radical one. He focused on one deity, the Aten, the physical disk of the sun. The Aten wasn't new, it had been around, but Akhenaten elevated it, made it supreme. Eventually he declared Aten the only god, the sole creator, the sustainer of all life. This was mind-blowing for its time. Section 4, Ancient Egypt's art scene, Extreme Makeover, Amarna edition. With a new god, a new capital, you just knew the art had to change too. And boy did it. Traditional Egyptian art was very formal, very stylized. Pharaohs looked heroic, perfect, idealized. Gods were depicted in specific, unchanging ways. Think rigid poses, profile views. It was a style that had lasted for thousands of years. It was the brand, the ancient Egyptian aesthetic. Then came Akhenaten, and with him the Amarna art style. It was a shock to the system. Suddenly art became more naturalistic, more expressive. Erased even. Section 6. After the sun sets, Egypt post-Akhenaten. Akhenaten's reign, this intense period of change lasted about 17 years. It was a time of radical transformation, where the traditional polytheistic beliefs were upended in favor of a monotheistic worship of Aten, the sun disk. A blink in cosmic time. Yet in those few years, the very fabric of Egyptian society was altered. But a whirlwind for Egypt. The changes were swift and sweeping, affecting everything from religious practices to art and architecture. What happened after he died? Did his Aten-centric universe continue to shine? Spoiler alert, not really. The grand experiment of monotheism began to unravel almost immediately. His revolution was so personal, so tied to him. It was as if the entire religious shift was held together by his sheer willpower. Once he was gone, the whole structure began to wobble. The foundations of his new order were not as solid as they seemed, then crumble, pretty fast. The temples he built for Aten fell into disrepair, and the old gods began to reclaim their places. His immediate successors, folks like Smenkhare and a very young Tutankhaten, faced immense pressure. They were caught between the legacy of Akhenaten and the demands of the traditional priesthood. Pressure to restore the old ways, and they did. The priests and the people longed for the familiar, the comforting embrace of the old gods. Tutankhaten even changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun. This was a clear signal of the return to traditional beliefs. Get it? The message was loud and clear. Aten is out. The sun disk was no longer the center of their universe. Amun is back in the house. The god of Thebes reclaimed his throne, and the temples dedicated to him were restored. The religious pendulum was swinging back. Hard. The people and the priests worked tirelessly to erase the memory of Akhenaten's reforms. The old gods were making a comeback tour. The city of Akhetaten, the horizon of Aten, it was abandoned. The once thriving city became a ghost town, left to the desert sands. Its temples were dismantled. The city that was supposed to be the center of a new religious order was left to decay. Its stones were recycled for other building projects. The very materials that once celebrated Aten were now used to honor the old gods. A city built on a dream became a ghost town. The vision of Akhenaten faded into the annals of history. Akhenaten's name and image were systematically removed from monuments. His legacy was intentionally erased, as if to ensure that his radical ideas would not take root again. Section 7. The Verdict of History. Akhenaten's enduring enigmatic legacy. So how do we view Akhenaten today? Through the lens of modern scholarship, we attempt to piece together the fragments of his life and reign. Through our modern telescopes of history, we see a figure both fascinating and controversial. For centuries, he was the forgotten pharaoh, his name and deeds buried under the sands of time, or worse, the heretic king, whose radical ideas were seen as a threat to the established order, the one who rocked the cosmic boat too hard. His memory was suppressed, his monuments defaced. Buried under layers of official disapproval, his legacy was almost lost to history. It wasn't until the 19th century, when archaeologists rediscovered Akhetaten, Amarna, that his story began to re-emerge. The rediscovery was like unearthing a time capsule, and it was a shocker. The world was introduced to a pharaoh, unlike any other. Modern scholarship gives us a more complex picture, revealing the multifaceted nature of his reign. Was he a madman, as some early interpreters thought? A ruler driven by obsession, obsessed with a single idea? Or was he a visionary? A philosopher king with a grand vision? Or was he a visionary? A philosopher king, perhaps the world's first monotheist, challenging the polytheistic traditions of his time. Perhaps the world's first monotheist? Some see him as a profound spiritual innovator ahead of his time. Some see him as a profound spiritual innovator ahead of his time, pushing humanity towards a new understanding of the divine, a single universal creator, a revolutionary concept in a world dominated by many gods. A pretty big idea for 3,300 years ago. His vision was both radical and transformative. His impact, despite the attempts to erase him, was significant. His ideas left an indelible mark on history. He showed that even a deeply conservative society like ancient Egypt could be shaken to its core. His reign challenged the very foundations of Egyptian society. His reign is a fascinating chapter in human history. A story of ambition, innovation, and controversy. A story of religious fervor, artistic freedom, and the immense power of a single individual to challenge the cosmos. And that Amarna art, still breathtaking, still unique. It offers a glimpse into a world that dared to be different. It whispers of a different world, a different vision. A vision that continues to captivate and intrigue us. Ultimately, Akhenaten remains one of history's great enigmas. His legacy, a blend of mystery and revelation, endures.